and what's going on. We're grateful.
Good news is, I think I figured out how to edit some of this. It's very- Welcome back to another edition of Combo with the Columns.
Yep.
We are going to rehash the amazing women's retreat.
Mm-hmm.
You were just so quick to jump in last time. Where are you going with that?
Yeah. Um, yeah. It was, I love talking about the women's retreat. I'm trying not to take over.
So we got to go up there, facilitate a women's retreat, Jackson Hole, south of Jackson Hole, Wyoming,
Mm-hmm.
in the Bridger Teton National Forest
Mm-hmm.
at our friends Rob and Brenda Wiley.
So non-typical outfitters.
Yes,
They're the best.
they're very good.
Yeah.
My name is Rob Wiley. My wife and I run Non-Typical Outfitters, and we're up here at Dead Man Camp.
So what's your heart behind opening space up for retreats?
My heart is to follow, it's to follow the heart of God, and I feel like being up here, especially doing retreats, I believe that it's God's country, and we're just an extension of that, and we're trying to do our best to make that space available for people to come into and hopefully find something that they were looking for that they couldn't find anywhere else.
How important is it for you to have women a part of your camp?
Extremely important. Like we were talking last night, when you find purpose in something, is it worth dying for? This one, I believe to my core that all of us, women, men together, that are looking for a healing journey, you can't do it without men present with women, and you can't do it as women without the vice versa. And so I think it's so fundamentally important. This is a space that's been primarily masculine, and to see when women come here what's available for them, it's more exciting than I could have ever dreamed. So yeah, super important.
Yeah, it was amazing. This was the second time that we've had the women's retreat up there. We had one last year. We'll be having another one next year.
For sure.
And I think out of all the women's retreats I've done, this one is by far my favorite.
What do you feel like makes it your favorite?
Lots of things. I think what makes it my favorite is we get to use horses.
Yes.
Let me some horses. And I will say, like, their horses are incredible. They are just, they know their job. And we've had multiple women show up that have even never been on a horse. And they just pack them around and just do an incredible job. And so safe and so fun.
What would you say to the woman that maybe thought she couldn't ride or didn't have enough experience?
I would say that our horses are very, very accomplished at taking inexperienced riders, and if she's willing to trust us, we have the right horse, and we can take her into country that she never dreamed that she could possibly go into.
And so that's one thing I love about it. There's multiple things I love about it. I love that we're in the middle of one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And I've gotten to see a lot of amazing places, and it is just magnificently beautiful. And no cell phone. There's no,
That's a big one.
it's a big one. No cell service, no internet. So you literally just get to just unplug. Um, no noise pollution. Like, I think that's one of the things I really love about it. Occasionally you'll hear an airplane, but other than that, like, there's no car noise or street noise. Like, it is just nature. And you get to sleep up by the creek, so you hear the water running all night. Like that. Um, I love that it's small. It's one that it is the smallest retreat I've ever done. So it's really intimate. The women really leave um, super connected. And I think even this bunch of women left, like they're still in conversations every day with each other.
Mm.
I love that. I love when they can walk away and feel like they're walking away with a community.
For sure.
I'm Teresa, and I'm from Oklahoma. I honestly, I didn't think of the relationships I would make.
Mm.
I mean, I knew about them, but I was incredibly blessed by the relationships and feel so honored, you know, to be a part of a new group of women that, you know, we've been very real with each other. We know each other. I'm looking forward to knowing them better, you know. So.
I think it's one thing to go to an experience and maybe learn about yourself or get some tools, but it's a whole nother maybe value system when, as you are choosing to be seen and heard and known, that you leave there with other people wanting to see and know and value more about what you allowed them into.
Yes. And I love how you even said that, like when you finally are in a space to be fully seen and known, oftentimes some things maybe you haven't shared before, and then you leave and people still want to stay connected with you
For sure.
and still value you. I think that's very healing and beautiful. And they're all over the country. Like, I love that too. Like they show up from all over the country. And so to stay connected is really, really powerful. That I could go on and on about all the things on one.
Yeah. I mean, we had the privilege of also capturing some postpartum video content.
Yeah.
And one of the things that seemed to be universal in their feedback was the ability to disconnect.
My name is Rebecca from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And so what compelled you to want to come up and experience this?
Yeah, life gets busy. You have kids and a full-time job and you're maintaining a family. Life just gets really busy sometimes. And I felt myself being just kind of exhausted by it all. And it was feeling very mundane and routine. So you can put eyes on the reality that you've lost maybe the joy in living your day-to-day life. So just to connect and reestablish that.
What did you find up here that you needed?
Quiet, some level of disconnection from the everyday so that you can process and think. Also just being, you know, in nature. I have a background in that, but I truly think that regardless of your background, everyone is able to connect and ground themselves in this setting. So just the ability to truly do that, to find some grounding and experience some quiet so that you're able to identify what's really important to me, right? What things in my life are truly important and worthy of my time and my investment.
So, in addition to disconnecting, and maybe being in a space where the traditional things that vie for our attention and or are constantly bombarding us.
Mm-hmm.
When some of that gets removed or is not available, I think that there's definitely a whole nother accessibility to a person. But one of the things that was also communicated was there seemed to be a value for the environment with which you set up.
So to start, you can share just your first name. Where are you from?
My name is Sarah, and I am from Richmond, Virginia. The space that you guys create here is unique. Not only the physical setting, but the space that you guys create. Of just safety and encouragement and openness and growth. And so besides this incredible environment around us, that is truly unique, and it's not like any other equine environment that I've been around. And so it's real, and it's authentic, and it's rare, and it's beautiful.
And I know Millie, and I know the value in processing and digging deeper. Yeah.
So, what we know to be true in the space is everybody is hungry to be seen, heard, and known.
Right. Every human. Right.
But not every circumstance allows for that.
Correct. Now that's our passion. Like, that's when you say creating space, like that is truly one of my passions, is to create a safe space for people to be able to be seen and heard in a very non-judgmental space where they can feel conditional love. Like, that is an absolute passion of mine. Ours.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can think. I don't know that I could definitively tell you when I realized the value of it, to have a space to be seen, heard, or known. But what I do process around the context of that a lot of times is for you and I, because we have such a high value for scripture and for the Bible. 1 Corinthians 13 talks about the brevity of that
Mm-hmm.
and the nature of humanity in general. We're all wanting to be seen. We're all wanting to be heard. And we're all wanting to be known.
Mm-hmm.
But what we also experience when people don't trust that that's available or a space hasn't been created for them,
Mm-hmm.
they may allow you to see a part of them, but not really hear them or know them.
Mm-hmm.
Or they may choose to allow you to hear them, but not really see them or know them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you even get into the space of people being transparent, which allows you to know something about them, but not really know them. And so each of those three dynamics, I think, has become something that I love for us to create space for.
Yes. And I think now I'm processing. That was a really big question. Now I'm processing. I do know moments when I felt very seen and known and heard in my life. I didn't have verbiage for it.
Sure.
And so, and celebrate right? But didn't have verbiage for those moments that I felt really connected or I felt valued or whatever. And so now that I have we have a lot more knowledge around that and how to create that space for people. It's just a passion to be really intentional. How do we create more opportunities for people to experience that?
For sure.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the point, if so many things that we live in today with society, the time and era that we're in,
Mhm.
it is almost impossible to experience a time or a section of time
Mm.
where something isn't attempting to garner your attention.
Yes, I have a lot of thoughts around that too. Going back to as you said, fully seen, something that really struck me funny too is um a couple of women have shown up like fully embracing it. Like, I didn't even wear makeup on the plane. I know there's not going to be hair dryers, curling irons, that kind of thing. And so they just come in fully embracing it, and it is so fun. So greet them that way and have no expectations. But it's even equally as fun to see the women that come with all the curling irons and dryers. And then by the next morning, they're like, why did I bring all this stuff? And then just to be able to show up in your true authentic self without um, all the mirrors and all the expectations, I think, around what women are supposed to look like and the expectations for women appearance wise. So that is so fun to just, or you really absolutely don't care what you look like. And it's so fun. And um, yeah, so that is one thing fully seen. And then I lost the other point I was going to make. Oh, here's what I was going to say. When,
Squirrel.
yeah, when, I think another thing too, and that, and men, I don't want to speak gender specific around this, but oftentimes I hear moms say, there's no way I could go all week without talking to my kids or go 4 days without talking to my kids, or I don't know if my kids are going to be able to survive or whatever. And it's, I think, really healthy for mamas to know that they're valuable, whether they're in the mess, micromanaging, and not even micromanaging, but their kids need to see them do things like this for themselves. And that then it doesn't make um, mamas selfish to take care of themselves.
Mm.
So I think that is really fun to see moms, even when they arrive, give themselves permission to trust that their kids are going to be okay at home,
Right.
and to fully embrace where they are. There's lots of things on.
It's just it's just a valuable time. An ability to disconnecting is scary. I was nervous about that. I have little ones at home. But doing so for yourself, I'll be a better mom when I get home. Just that willingness to shut down for 4 days is going to be a better mom for the next, for a long time, for the next
For
few
sure.
years.
I love how much it gets us out of our comfort zones. I think, like you said, not hiding behind makeup, not hiding behind appearance, not hiding behind cell phones, no social media. Like, it's just a beautiful time just to be fully present. And then even the horseback riding part, like I said, can be challenging for some, like get them out of their comfort zone. Um, but then, and we've witnessed this a few times too, but then to see like that sense of accomplishment when they come down to the bottom, and just that, how much confidence they give you is
For sure.
just amazing.
What compelled you to want to engage this opportunity?
Should have given me some scaffolding beforehand. So I got, what did compel me to do this? Um, let's see. I did not fully understand why I was supposed to be here. I just knew that I was supposed to be here. And there was a really beautiful thing that was said that throughout this experience that what you're looking for is there if you are willing to take it, like if you're willing to accept it and choose it. I think choose is the word I'm looking for. If you're willing to choose it. And so something just compelled me to choose this, to be here.
Oftentimes remember saying a very similar statement in those instances where I know this to be true for me anyway, which may be why I repeat it. But there's a huge value that I have for the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I were to have to do that on my own 2 feet and say, I'm at 7,000 feet and over there at the top of that peak, I could be at 10 or 11,000.
Mm.
But because we're in Oklahoma and we do not live in elevation,
No, we don't.
even when we land, it takes a couple of days to get acclimated. So I think about the times where there would be a lot of locations that our hearts would have a desire to experience.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're not accustomed to being able to engage that opportunity that way, because it's not a norm for us,
Yeah.
then we're probably less apt to be able to experience something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the horses become extremely valuable in offering opportunities for us to experience areas that we would not have otherwise in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Very. But how did you feel about doing it in this environment?
Oh, there's nothing like this. I mean, this compared to a hotel room.
Yeah.
Oh, it just opens your heart so much more. And I feel when I'm in nature, I feel closer to God. And especially the higher I go up, we're here at 7,000 feet. I think we went up to 9,000 probably on the horses. It's just something about being in this air and seeing the beauty and the magnificent of the mountain. Yeah, it's beautiful, spectacular, actually. It's very special. My horse was kind of pokey, and it just allowed me to, I don't know, I related to, not that I'm pokey, I'm not pokey, and I need to slow down. Yeah, we're going to get there no matter what the pace. We're going to get to the end. And so it kind of helped me slow down, I think, in my mind, connect with him in that way.
And to be fair as well, the rides in and of themselves are not super difficult as far as we're usually not riding more than 1 hour out. So lengthwise, destination wise, it's usually just, a couple miles out. We get to a really cool view in that area. We have 2 different locations. So it's not like you're going to the fair, getting on a pony ride, and you're just in circles. But by the same token, I think there is a fascination that we all have when we get to a really high elevation, and it increases our view to see distance wise. Like there's just a value system for that.
Yeah, it's a majesty of the view, like the mountains and things that you see up there that, well, we for sure in Oklahoma don't get to experience. But still, even though the views, it's like you said, to hike there would take a minute. Definitely take me getting in a lot better shape. But yeah, it's I think too, even to that point, I've heard some women be a little hesitant to come to the retreats because they're afraid physically they won't be able to ride the horse. And it's not that I don't want to put age on it because there's some mid 60-year-old women that are in a lot better shape than me, but it seriously, like, it's not It's you don't have to be in a supreme athlete.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing is people have choice in the matter.
Yes.
So it's not like it's a demand.
Yeah. Right. No, there's
Nothing in the experience is you have to or else.
correct. Absolutely. But I do find this really fun. Both years, yes, last year and this year. After the first ride, the next morning, there would be participants that were like, that was really, and then they're like, okay, my FOMO, I gotta go. And then came back and just elated. Like, I can't believe I almost missed that.
For sure. How do you think that becomes such a mirror to our everyday life?
I think you just said it. Like, if you're not willing to take the risk and know that, well, lots of things. I think trust your community,
Mhm.
trust the people around you will support you. If you need something, they're going to show up for you and give what you need. There's lots of mirrors around the horses in itself and learning how to trust.
Not literally,
What do you mean?
metaphorically mirrors.
Yes.
Like-
Did I say literally?
No, I'm clarifying.
Oh, yeah.
The camp does not have mirrors.
No mirrors. Well, yes, but no. No mirrors in your tail's tens. Yes, so horses are metaphoric mirrors. And so often it will mirror to you what is getting in your way, which we do a lot of that. What do you think adding the horses did for you?
Horses are just such amazing creatures. To look at them, they are of course strong and they're big, but they also have such personality and desire. They're social animals. So they desire that connection. You can watch them with each other. They desire the connection, but they also are drawn to people. And that's, we have much to learn from nature and from horses and how they interact with each other and how they, in a way, on the trail rides, you see them holding each other accountable and moving each other forward. And we as people should do more of that. Should do more of that, holding each other accountable, pushing forward as a team. And so it's really an amazing thing to see the effort that they put in, but they do it collaboratively. Because my horse wasn't going anywhere. If the team wasn't going, if the line wasn't moving, he really was not real apt to go anywhere. He was pretty content. But once the team started going, he wasn't going to be left behind. And I think as people, that community that won't leave us behind is something really valuable and something that we can learn from. Not to live in isolation.
Yeah, taking big risk. It takes a lot of self-worth to take risks. And so I think that even you gain confidence whenever you do take risks and you achieve. And I think too, like we said, if you take that risk, it's not like you're taking that risk solo. You have a full team supporting you, getting you to the top and getting you back down to the bottom.
Equally as important.
Yes.
Yeah, not just going out, but also getting back.
Yes.
I think it's always fascinating. And because you and I have been coaching the horses for quite some time, I learned this outside of the context of using horses as a modality to interact and connect with people. But what is true about humanity is that we're always trying to garner as much information as possible to make the decisions that we feel like would potentially meet our needs so that we can be safe. That subsequently leads to being seen or heard or known. And I'm always fascinated by how quick everybody begins to try to size up the horses.
Mm-hmm.
So we even had the experience of somebody who had quite a bit of horse background.
She's amazing. Yeah.
And it was fun to hear her perspective on how limiting that information and the interactions prior to the whole experience of getting to go ride
Yeah.
forced her to actually be more present in the interaction of the relationship.
So you're a person that has had a lot of experience around horses, but in this particular setting, what do you feel like that you were able to experience with an interaction with a horse that may have been different otherwise?
Sure. There were quite a few things that I was not able to be in control of, and typically um, I spend a lot of time getting to know an animal and just feeling it out. And in this situation, I'm trying not to give too much away, but in this situation, that was not something that was not a part of it. And so, um, being able to be in a different setting with a different set of animals with a different skill set, um, and kind of jumping into it without a lot of preconceived ideas was a blessing.
What did it give you permission to experience?
Trust and just joy.
Mm.
When you're around horses a lot for your occupation, sometimes it can, or even if it's just a project that you're working on, you can get obsessed into the process instead of being fully present in the moment. Um, so it was an opportunity to be fully here in the moment and just joyfully enjoying the companionship of the animal.
Yeah, she could have taken that horse at any time at the top of the mountain. She could have taken that horse anywhere she wanted to. And that the horse wasn't what she was most afraid of. It was the connection and her choosing to have the courage to be fully seen and known. Um, yeah, I think it's moments like that that even change me. Mm. Yeah, I don't think I know and change the people that are there too. Because the horsemanship part was like a challenge for her. Did she appreciate it? Absolutely. She's precious. But yeah, just I think that is what was hitting me. It's just I think it goes back to a conversation we have often as much as you and I both love horses and value horses so much is that they're still not going to feel that need, that human connection can only create.
Yeah, I would say it obviously because you and I grew up around horses and they have always been a really big part of our life. There's an awareness that we have in the interaction with horses, both on a leisure side, just because it's something that we sincerely value, but also occupationally. Um, but I think to me, that's the continued fascination of utilizing horses in some of these moments, coaching modalities or however, whatever language that we would put to that. To your point of we're all created for connection, but in the absence of being able to experience that in our authenticity, there is a huge tendency for people to go and get connections in other ways, oftentimes through companion animals.
Mm. I think you and I have done it.
For sure, I know, but I think it goes back to the point of not just the emotion of witnessing somebody sing, but I think for me in that it's all the different ways that we've learned things about ourselves because of the horse.
Mhm.
And so the horse part in this, I think it's important to highlight the value of it.
Absolutely.
But what we also see happen is too often those types of experiences can get so inflated that it becomes now about the horse rather than about the opportunity.
Yes.
And so I think that's the part where you and I get to really see some of the before and after, not only in the individuals, but even in our own journeys. And I think for me, getting to watch horses show up for people in a way, obviously they're created to be in relationship with us.
Mhm.
By design, I would contend that that is the structure of how God created it. When I use this language, it's not, though, from a control, it's they know the order that they were created in the earth. And so they're constantly looking for somebody to partner with the direction in order for them to achieve their full potential. Because I believe that they carry just as much appreciation with the interaction to humanity as we do to creation, being able to do something and go somewhere with purpose. Otherwise, they're just out there back to the bottom fundamental needs, which is I need to eat, I need to drink, I need to rest. And so if the basic needs get met without partnership to a horse, they don't actually see what the potential is. They don't inherently choose to go on the top of an 11,000 foot peak with a person. They may, but they're probably not inclined to do that.
Mhm.
And so to see both sides, maybe Indian, yeah, that Rob's ace pony, his personal horse.
Yes.
He's part mountain goat. Yeah, but I think it to that point of even our emotions getting to experience facilitating something and what we get to receive because it's the nature of God. He's reciprocal. It's really fun, fulfilling. Like I could go down a list of adjectives to see the ways that the sincerity of a horse opens up opportunity with people.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think I can even share that from my own experience without having to share anybody else's. Like it was, this retreat was kind of birthed, so to speak, out of um, me coming out of a really hard season and you saying, "Hey, I really want you to come and experience this with me." And at the time, I was physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and even spiritually just exhausted. And so I think the thought of us doing that, it was a packed trip. So the thought of riding that many miles and going that far, like my heart wanted to, but at the same time, I was like, I don't think I have the capacity to even do it. And so I think um, just trusting you, like, okay, I'll trust, I'll go. And then getting up there and literally being given a force. I know I'm so emotional today. And given a horse that just literally packed me around for over 50 miles just well, I just oftentimes was just up there crying, just taking it in, just the beauty and the quietness and just processing, just letting go of the hard season and then just receiving. And he literally just, which goes against everything, when you have, when you are a horse person, you don't want to just be a passenger, but I was literally just a passenger. And he just packed me around. And I say this all the time, like he gave me the greatest gift that trip of just, I think they know.
For sure. For sure. You shared something really interesting before around that horse.
Mhm.
Again, because we're horse people, because we've been raised around horses.
I don't want to be offensive. Are you talking about the breed?
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
just use it in general.
Yeah, well, we both love quarter horses. That's what we grew up with. That's kind of our breed of choice. And I have processed this before. Like, um, I was handpicked this horse when I went the first time. Like, I didn't pick it. Like, they said, "Hey, here, we picked this horse for you." Um, and I was like, "Of course it's that." Like, it would have been the least out of all the horses that were there. It would have been absolutely the one I would not have picked.
Yeah, he's a horse that would catch your attention, but it's not because he's exceptionally beautiful.
No, not at all. And like I said, if I was to go out and buy a horse, like it would be the least I would probably consider.
Well, it'd be fair to say that we would not consider it at all.
Correct. And yes. So I was like, of course, this is the horse I would get. But he, like I said, I cry when I talk about him because he really did. He gave me the greatest gift that trip. And I've shared this story at one part, and we had rode, my hat blew off on the trail.
No Stampede Stream.
No Stampede Street, SOPs. And so I had popped off on the trail and was down the rock to get back on because Rob's horses are huge.
Yeah, this was a horse that was 16 hands.
Yeah, they're or more. They're not little. They're not little cow ponies.
For sure.
Yes. And went to get back on and a rock slipped and I literally ended up under his belly. Like, and he never moved a muscle. Like just, and so he just had me the whole time. And I think it was even after that moment, I felt like I could really let down and just like, okay, you got me, bud.
No,
'Cause
he had you at hello.
not quite, but yeah, I think that's even a mirror how often for me and just how we judge things.
For sure, the humanity of us.
How we judge, so we're so quick to judge. And so, yeah. And then I got to watch him pack one of my kids around later that year, and that was amazing. And so, one of our girls, and so it's, and I've seen him in action a couple more times with other people, and it's just really cool. I think horses listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit too. And I think it's amazing how well he listens.
For sure. Yeah, we could get into so many different conversations. Maybe that's a whole dialogue in and of itself. Recounting experiences with horses through coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could probably write a whole book on that alone.
Our creation, really.
For sure.
But yeah, it's my favorite. I can't wait. Matter of fact, I told you this morning, I'm kind of ready to go back. So, and then I do want to give a shout out, like every time I'm up there, because you and I are pretty active. Like I love to hike too. And so a lot more active and more up there. It just, maybe it feels more active because we're up so.
We don't have the heavy humidity to breathe in down here.
Yeah.
Well, thinner air.
Yes. But Brenda just, they feed us. Unreal. It's so good. They feed us amazing. And I think that's really special for women too, to show up and be fed and served that well.
Mm.
It really is. It's really, I think, really special not to have to worry about meals and planning and that be really good food in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was equally fascinating when you can still do some of that and you're progressively moving.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Because even in some other things that we do up there, we're still eating that good.
Mhm. Yeah, they know how to do it.
Courtesy of those amazing horses packing that stuff around.
Mhm. So glad they're our friends.
For sure. What do you feel like you get from an experience like that?
Mm. Um, just experience rest for my soul that I don't yet have words for. That it just feels so peaceful. And the only word that I can come up with right now is like, to me, it feels so holy just because it's just no interference.
What would you say that you either received or learned about yourself that you didn't know that you needed here?
Permission. Just permission to be authentically present, and kinship and um, peace.
What do you feel like that you're taking home that you didn't come up here with?
Mm-hmm. A renewed understanding of what is important, a renewed understanding of what makes me tick, like, reestablishing who I am at my core and understanding what I need from the people around me and what the people around me need from me. So the ability to function just healthier and within my relationship with myself, but also my relationship with the people who I love and who I am committed to living life with.
What are you going home with that you didn't come with?
That I am worth the time and effort it will take to make my life look different. Hold on. That I'm worthy, that I am loved, and that I can crawl up in God's lap anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I even remember you saying the first time that you went up there, family pack trip,
Mhm.
and you have been working in the prison.
Mhm.
And I remember you said, I don't feel the presence of evil.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget when I heard you say that. Again, it goes back to how much we're often bombarded with things, whether it's seen or unseen. But when you said that, it was fascinating to me that when you get far enough into a wilderness area, it poses the question, when you're able to experience that type of peace, what's getting in the way of that when we're back in environments that we do inhabit or that do get um, developed?
Mhm.
And I think even as you were describing just the experience of up there, my passion is, how do we get church back to more of that? How do we get peace back into gathering? How do we get fellowship back into gathering? How do we get reverence and holiness back into gathering?
Mhm.
Not because everybody who is getting together is doing it wrong,
Mhm.
but we are very much a society driven by entertainment and being consumers.
For sure.
And so I think that's one of the really cool things that that retreat space affords, is it strips away all of the amenities that we get readily available to us. And it's not that there aren't amazing accommodations to the site there for non-typical outfitters. I mean,
Yeah.
to be in the wilderness, it's still an amazing setup. You can still take a hot shower.
Yes.
You still have ample heat. There's so many things that you still have
Yes. Lots of comfort.
for sure.
Yeah.
But in the absence of it being inhabited
Mm-hmm.
by commerce, by established infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost as if the more populated that we get, the less that we recognize how much that we're losing when all of that's at our fingertips.
Well, you're going to get me preaching. And so I don't know how much time I have in this podcast, but for this conversation. But yeah, I think one of my favorite scriptures is the kingdom is righteousness, peace, and joy. And the opposite of righteousness is performance. And we are surrounded by an environment that's constantly baiting us to perform.
For sure.
And so when you take all of the, I don't have to perform, I think that's it. And not that guys don't have this, but I think especially for women, I don't have to perform in my appearance. I don't have to perform with my kids. I don't have to perform for my spouse. I don't have to perform. I'm just up here to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, but then also you remove all those things that we do try to hide behind.
Right.
And so then you feel there's that tension of feeling exposed. But then when you're met with compassion and unconditional love, not only from other women, but especially like just the holiness of the environment. You can't, you cannot perform for that kind of beauty.
Right.
You cannot perform to receive that kind of majesty. And it's all for you to just absorb as much as your soul can possibly take in.
Yeah, I think that's even another one of the attributes of a space like that, because to your point in that scripture, the kingdom being righteousness, peace, and joy, the opposite of peace is chaos. And so when we're in more urbanized areas, more developed, more infrastructure, more cell phones, all this stuff, there is a measure of chaos that we're constantly inhabiting. That more times than not, and this is me communicating, I'm not making a judgment by anybody, we don't necessarily remain in control of. We almost are a servant or a slave to.
For sure, if you're not intentional. If you're not intentional, you are. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you just alluded to the righteousness. The opposite of that is performance. The opposite of peace is chaos. And I think because we do live in life that is always contending against whatever, when we're operating in our authenticity and in our purpose, then we're moving towards the things that we were created to do in the earth, which is a product of joy.
Mm. Yeah, fulfillment for sure. I think anytime we're operating in purpose, we're going to feel a sense of fulfillment. Yes. I think too, even like scripturally, the opposite of joy to me would be a spirit of heaviness.
Mm.
And so when that spirit of heaviness isn't, you don't feel it up there. It's just, I laugh so much. Well, I mean, I laugh all the time anyway, but I'm a big giggler. But
It's definitely different.
yes, it is. It's just, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really do. I want to, um, I, I do believe there's something absolutely rare and special about when we get in that pure of an environment. Like it's just a gift. Like it's just an incredible gift that I hope I never take for granted. But I also want to be able to carry that kind of presence in any environment. And I say that often, like, I want to be my authentic self regardless of where I am, which my authentic self to me is righteousness, right? And and so if I can just show up that way in any environment, continue to walk in that peace and joy. But it's we're human. Even Jesus took time out when he went to alone in the wilderness.
For sure.
So I think it's important that we make space for that in our own lives. What would you say your takeaway was? Because you partner with this.
I do. I think back to the point of being able to interact with horses without it being an occupation or a task. And coincidentally for me, 20 years of my life at that particular moment was spent with probably the highest level of stress, going to a public auction with the biggest concentration of monetary value that we would have at once. Logistically, just the numbers. And so, almost half of my life that it was such a demand at that particular time that it's almost still surreal to experience something with the latitude in the schedule, because I don't think I've lived enough removed from that I don't subconsciously still process this is a season that I never knew different. Because from college on, I was always in Rio, New Mexico through Labor Day. And so when you spend 25 years doing that, and now all of a sudden you're getting to go to mountains, but for a very different reason, and it still involves horses, I think there's still very much a restoration to that time in a calendar. And this year it was super unique having somebody that had worked for me in that season, getting to see that interaction literally 20 years later.
Yeah.
I think there are different times that we get to experience moments that sort of encapsulate Romans 8:28, where he says he's going to work all things together for the good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's a much longer conversation as it relates even to that particular camp.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And even just encounters that I've personally had with the Lord there, the things that it has represented for me. I think every time there is a continued gift of just being present there. Like I said, there could be a whole nother hour or two conversation around different things that have occurred at that camp or in the area of that camp, even related to horses and people. But yeah, I think this time it was just another layer or level of restoration to a timeline. And I think it even being the week of Labor Day. And what does Labor Day as a holiday represent? And for us, we use this language with one another, but it's a privilege and an opportunity to be trusted in situations like that. And so what oftentimes gets celebrated as another holiday to not have to go work, you and I are getting the chance to facilitate a space and place for people to do work in the ways that matters most.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, just think there are moments where you get to see the sovereignty of God,
Sure.
even when things are being contended against. Yeah, that would be a big takeaway for me. And I think the other one is just a real appreciation for partnership, both with you getting to do with a spouse is significant. I think getting to represent attributes of God that we were each entrusted to represent, but in unity, create maybe more of the fullness of that,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not just a guy and a girl, or male and female doing work professionally to hold space for people. We're a covenant couple.
Yeah.
That joined by God, and in those gifts, then they get to complement one another
Mm-hmm.
in the way that it helps whichever group of people that we're showing it for.
Mm-hmm.
But to have the partnership of Rob and Brenda as well, to say, hey, we want you guys to bring your gift into that space. I think that's a passion of mine to see happen in the earth. For sure, more in the church, that we would stop hoarding the things that happen or the opportunities that exist, and begin to say, well, I know this is a real niche part of mine, but how can we do this together? And how can that be exponentially more impactful? Because we're choosing to refuse that there's not enough in the kingdom for all of us. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of people that I know get powerful experiences and amazing breakthroughs in traditional settings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go do one-on-one counseling, whatever that looks like. There's so much value in that. But then there's also value when there isn't a hotel room or all the bougie accommodations that still allow people to hide.
Mm.
And we just refuse for somebody to show up and stay covered.
Yeah.
Stay hidden.
We love them too much.
And there's too much for them to experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways that could be answered and rabbit trailed, unpacked. But the premise of it, I think, is just the joy in getting to experience partnership.
Yeah, it's for sure. Getting to do this with you is one of my favorite things, for sure. I think too, and Rob talks about this a lot. He's a dad of all girls. You're a dad of all girls. And so I think we've witnessed time and time again how the women, the way you guys champion us up there, is healing to so many women that didn't have fathers that would champion their daughters, or spouses that champion their spouse. And so to have two really strong males, like really champion women in that environment, has brought a lot of healing too. So it's really beautiful that you guys are there.
Yeah, as he and I both have shared with one another, it's difficult to have to answer the questions that your kids would have when they say, "Hey, can we do this?" or "Where's our space in this?" And so, yeah, even back to the whole conversation around makeup and all the things that I despise in what it has unintentionally created for women. I love being able to just be in a space where I don't see y'all show up with the need to have to figure out all of that stuff before you just show up.
Mhm.
I mean, just, but, yeah.
Can't wait to do it again.
There will be more.
Yes. Yeah. We're talking to Rob, trying to get dates nailed down. I'll get those out as soon as possible. Yeah. But get it on your calendars for next year.
Next year, that will be-
September, maybe June, probably September again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Another wilderness adventure.
Yes. Yes.
An opportunity for potentially male and female,
Yes.
separate opportunities.
Yes. Well, yeah, a bunch of ideas in the works. You know,
Final thoughts.
I don't know if it's something you have even considered. I would just highly recommend it. Don't think you're too old. Don't think you physically can't do it. You got to.
If you're 18 and up,
18 and up. Yes. You need to be 18. Several reasons, but yeah.
come hungry, leave happy.
Yes. Or come full and still leave happy.
True.
It's good. It's so good.
Until next time.
For somebody that would be considering the next opportunity, what would you say?
Well, if they are exposed to this adventure, I would say take it. You're worth the time, the money, the space in your life to just slow down, get away from, emails, the phone, the responsibilities, the task list, and truly focus on your life and how your life can be grow, how you can become the best version of yourself for you and for others around you.
Hey guys, if you have made it to the end of this video, we want to say thank you. It is our heart to try to bring authentic conversations to you about our experiences and the things that we are passionate about facilitating. That being said, we have a nonprofit that we are going to utilize to try to help resource this very video. I'm going to post a QR code in the link via Cash App. Feel free to donate if you feel inclined. If you value this, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things as we continue to prepare to bring more content and more valuable conversations to you. Thank you.